Hello class, and today we will be moving into the DLC area of the game, so if you don't want to see any of that, go ahead and just miss this episode. So I was planning on maybe stopping by Lost Izalith and fighting a few more bosses so we could use the Pyromancy Flame, but then I realized there's a boss really early on in the DLC area, and that should give us way more than enough souls to go ahead and just use the Pyromancy Flame right there. So anyway, let's go ahead and warp over to in Orlando and head into the Duke's archives so we can grab an item that is required. So what you should be doing first, though, is heading into the Darkroot Garden, which I'll show you later. This is what you should be doing after the Darkroot Garden section, although I forgot about that in this bit, so you're gonna have to sit through a little bit of me running. At least I sped it up a bit. So you may remember that these guys have a very low aggro range, so you can just walk by them most of the time, although I chose to fight them this time because it's fun and they're easier when you're higher leveled like we are. See, one good strong hit when you get a counter attack. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, move out here and kill this guy. And kill him again. There we go. So now we can move up this way. And in through here is where the Duke's Archives is located. It's right through this door that was blocked off by a golden gate. And here is one of those metal boar things. So these guys, there's no fires to lure them into, and you're in a straight narrow hallway, so basically and they can't be backstabbed either. As you can see, they have armor on their rears this time. So you're gonna have to find a more efficient way of fighting them than just mailing them to death, but fortunately our lightning does enough damage that enough heavy attacks should be able to knock them out pretty effectively. So this guy did drop the Fang Boar Helm, which is very nice if you manage to get from the first boar, because it's pretty heavy, but it is some of the best heavy armor in the early game that you can grab early on. So down this hallway, and a little bit further, and there's another one right in here. You can fight him in the next room should you choose. It's a little easier and you have a bit more of a fighting area, but overall it's just easier to fight him right where he is. So there actually is a neat little exploit / glitch thing you can do, where the Fang Boars will not follow you back outside to the An Orlando portion. So if you manage to lure the first guy all the way back to the door, you can just poke him with ranged attacks until he dies. So that's one method. So here's the first bonfire in the Duke's Archives. It's pretty early on, but it's the only one for a while. Anyway, so you can go ahead and activate this elevator here. Closes the door and puts you up. So as you probably could have imagined, the exit is the only way without a fence. So just walk out here, and here we are. So you might see these guys and think hollow soldiers equals easy. These guys are actually corrupted / endowed with crystal magic, invented by Seath, the Duke whose archives we are in. So they're much more powerful, although they have mostly the same attack patterns and weapons, and they can still be easily backstabbed for enough damage to kill them. So, yeah. Might remember the Channeler from earlier. This place is full of them. Basically all they can do is shoot soul arrows and do the weird dancey thingy. So you don't need to worry about that too much. Ah. Drink Estus in your face. The most effective method of killing hollows. Anyway. So you see that crystal golem over there? That is the enemy you need to kill to get to the item that is required to access the DLC area. But what I've failed to realize is that we have not yet freed Dusk of Ulasil, so we did not get the item. So I'll show you guys how to free Dusk next, and then you come back here and kill the golem again. So I get kind of flustered because I expected to get that item, but, well, you have to wait a bit. Where'd it go? This is me wandering around. Where is it? For a while. So yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and head into that area for a bit, I think. So you can see these channelers do shoot soul arrows from their tridents. They also do a little dancey thingy, and they can teleport away if you get too close and do enough damage. So I'm going to research a bit. And now I'm done researching, because I research with amazing speed. I have like internet in my brain. So yeah, now I know that we actually do need to free Dusk first. But anyway, so let's just go ahead and kill this Chandler because he's getting annoying. There's also Hollow Soldier Archers. So the Chandlers here are a good way to get Chandler's Tridents if you didn't get them earlier, so you can go ahead and do that if you want it. But really all it is it's an intelligence-based spear that gives you a fancy little dance thing that's useful for trollers mostly, and that's pretty much it. So yeah. See, so there's an item we can grab under here at least. It's a soul item. It's not very much, but it's something at least. So Soul for Brave Warrior, there you go. So now that I'm gonna kill a few of these archers too, because I can. Yeah, so that there was a headshot. It happens when an arrow, bolt, or other similar projectile hits you in the head. It is their critical shot, instant stun, instant poise break, I should say, and it does more damage than a regular bolt. So you can aim for that if you're using projectile weapons, like a bow that has a self-aim, or if you're fighting a boss with a head, you can get headshots and stun them pretty easily. So yeah, you can do that. So anyway, now that we're just about done here, we can head back down here to the bonfire and teleport back to Darkroot Garden, so that or the Undead Parish, because you can't teleport into the Darkroot Garden. And from there we can free Dusk and then come back here and get the item that we were supposed to get in the first place. So yeah, this video is basically just me starting off in a couple areas and getting a few more souls so we can level up our intelligence a bit. So anyway, and the doors open over this way, herder. And here's the bonfire, so let's warp to the Undead Parish. And the Undead Parish. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and head there. So yeah, so you may recall we got the Darkmoon Science ring in one of the previous episodes. So that is useful to attain a secret covenant. If I showed that to you in a past episode, ignore this, but basically just go to the Darkmoon Tomb. I think I'll show you guys that later. And yeah. So for now, let's just enjoy the sped up Darkroot Garden for a bit. Dum-de-dum. So there's their bite attack. As you can see, it doesn't do much damage right now, but it's still kind of annoying. Anyway, so it's down in the Darkroot Basin area, so we're gonna have to take this path down here and down this way and continue moving. So we're going to want to equip the Rusted Iron Ring to have maximum mobility. Even though we're going to be fat rolling, it's worth it because we can actually roll. So you may recall the water slows you down to walking speed, and that even at mid rolling, even when you can mid roll, is still pretty slow. So even slower than fat roll walk, even slower than fat roll jogging. So anyway, let's go ahead and run through here. Be careful of the Hydra's pit. Even though it's not there anymore, the pit still is. So anyway, so it's just down into this little alcove. And here is the Golden Crystal Golem. There's actually two of them, one of which contains Sigdaline of Katarina. But we'll talk to that later. I'll talk to you about that later when we get there. So this Golden Crystal Golem contains Dusk of Ulasil, an NPC that will help you out by selling you light-based, basically support sorceries. Sorceries that can make you invisible, conceal your weapon so that people don't know what you're fighting with, stuff like that. She is also the last survivor of the disaster of Ulasil, which we will actually take part in the DLC. So she is going to fade away into the past or something or other, or exit our world or something like that. But anyway, apparently she has a white sign soapstone or something similar. So she'll magic-y floaty thing away, and we can head back to an area where she is standing, where her summon sign is, and I can show you guys the only summonable merchant. Kind of interesting. An interesting little mechanic, but, well, I don't know, I guess it works. So anyway, just run up this way, through the raging waters that are completely calm, even though there's the waterfall right over there. Well, physics. Anyway, go ahead and run over here, and it's always around this specific rock here. It might be in a different place around the rock, but it's always around this rock. So you just touch it. There's no clarification sign saying, "Do you sure you want to summon this one?" Because, well, there you go. Phantom Merchant. Ooh.
I am Dusk.
I can go ahead and talk to her.
I shall follow that.
So, she sells light-based sorceries like Chameleon, which is pretty awesome. It turns you into an item, so you can turn into a barrel or something. She also gives you the proper bow gesture. So she was banished to the abyss, and then Artorias rescued her. So that's interesting. So now that we're done here, let's go ahead and head back to the Duke's archives. And although we still don't have the broken pendant item, there is one thing we can grab in this little area before we return to the Duke's archives and open up the portal. Anyway, so now that we've talked to Dusk after freeing her, her set of armor is actually back here. Kind of interesting. So it's mostly not terribly good, but what the main attraction is the helm. It actually increases your magic damage. I actually use this helmet on my sorcerer build, sorcery dex oriented, basically dodge rolling around and casting sorceries at people. It actually looks really good, and it works pretty well. So yeah. Anyway, now that we're back here, we can go ahead and use this elevator and head back up and kill the crystal golem again. And let's go ahead and put back on the Havel's ring, so because we won't be traversing any ankle-deep water anytime soon. Anyway, so let's go ahead and fight off these guys. Basically, the only difference from the Hollow Soldiers in the previous areas is they have slightly more damage, making them a little bit more powerful. And they can't be one-shotted by the Drake Sword. So don't use the Drake Sword if you're this far into the game. It's definitely not recommended. So, and just make sure there's nobody around. You don't want anyone following you to the bonfire. So now let's go ahead and kill this guy again. So this is actually only in the DLC, so if you don't have the DLC, you can go ahead and skip over this bit. There's the broken pendant. This is the item necessary to open the portal to the past. Ooh. Okay, right there. It's deeply enchanted, but we can neither sense nor manipulate its power, which contains a distinct air of reverence and nostalgia. Interesting. So anyway, now that we have that pendant, we can head back down to the area where Dusk was. And I think I'm actually going to show you guys all the walking there too. Oop, what was that? So don't walk on that little platform thing when the elevator's going down. Words of advice. Okay. Well, I guess no game is without its glitches. Some are worse than others. And Dark Souls is no exception to the rule. Anyway, let's just go ahead and grab those souls back and then get out of here. Because remember, we're trying to save up our souls a bit. There we go. So now that we're going down, these guys, even though they try to follow us, the elevator's going down too fast. That guy didn't take fall damage for some reason, but the other guy won't be able to follow us because the drop is way too high. Anyway, so let's go ahead and warp back to the parish so we can get into the DLC and fight the boss there. But first, let's head to the Darkmoon Tomb and show you guys that. So you're going to need the Darkmoon Science Ring from the catacombs in order to access this secret area. So, down here, and I must have passed by it. There it is, right there. The Darkmoon Science Ring. It makes the statue of Gwyn disappear, and the doorway to his actual tomb open up. Down here is one of the only surviving deities in the whole of Anor Londo. His name is Gwendolyn. He is the chief of Moonlight and Illusions, I think. So apparently we're not supposed to go there. Apparently the Dark Sun is the name of the moon. Huh. Okay, so we're supposed to kneel before him. Okay. Let's go ahead and kneel. Okay. Yeah, I hear it. Basically a dark wraith for other dark wraiths. Basically what the dark wraiths basically what the Blades of the Darkmoon do is they hunt down sinners, those who have killed NPCs or invaded as dark wraiths and become addicted. They invade them and kill them. They're granted souvenirs of reprisal to level up in this covenant, and they have one of the best weapon buffs in the entire game. The only other good one is only gained by betraying said covenant, so yeah. So it's a pretty nice covenant if you're looking for a great weapon buff, especially if you level up in it a bit. It's also good if you don't want to just invade random people, but it does guarantee that you will always invade someone who is geared for PvP, because they have sinned, they know it, they're in human form, and they are ready to fight you. So, unfortunately, there's not many people like that, so don't expect to get very many duels as a Blade of the Darkmoon. So, because you almost never get any invasions. It comes with a special ring as well, like as long as you have it on, you have a chance to invade someone, but it only works for people who have killed Guinevere and discovered the illusion of Anor Londo, which we will later, before we beat the final boss, because it is considered a major sin and will have Darkmoons after us. So anyway, as if you haven't discerned that already, the Blades of the Darkmoon act as police of the Dark Souls world. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, go ahead and head down here. Don't need the rusted iron ring for this. We can jog our way. Come on, jog faster. Jog it. Yeah, even at 2x speed it's still ridiculously slow. Anyway, this is why you need the rusted iron ring, everybody. Anyway, you might notice in the distance it's kind of low res, but you should be able to see it. Anyway, now there is a portal. So this portal actually leads you into the past before the disaster of Ulasil, and lets you enter the Abyss as it was being formed by Manus, the father of the Abyss, and also, in my opinion, the furtive pygmy, because he is referred to by many as a primordial man. That is his hand, in case you're wondering. He drags you into the past because you have the broken pendant, which is a artifact of his that he wants back, I think. So anyway, now we're in the Sanctuary Garden. We have a bonfire that we can light. You might be able to warp from it, I'm not sure, but I don't think you are. Actually, it looks like you can, fortunately. So it's not long into the DLC, which this is, that you fight a boss. I actually failed my first time, so I have to go get my souls back. I also got the tail weapon in my previous fight, though, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Basically, just wait for an opening and hack it off. It's a whip that does bleed damage. No, it's a whip that does poison damage. So there you have it. Chimera! Hua! He shoots lightning bolts at you. He has 4 wings, a poisonous tail, goat horns, paws. Basically, he looks really hard, but he's kind of not because of his relatively low health total. There's a few stupid annoying attacks, like that stun one, and then he launches a gigantic lightning bolt at you. Fortunately, our shield has one of the highest lightning defenses in the game. Well, one of them. So we have a pretty good chance against this guy. As you can see, he drains all your stamina with a single blow if you let that water attack hit you with your shield up. Arrgh, we've been hit. Anyway, so now we have our 2,000 something souls back, and we can actually get to fighting the boss for reals. There's a bunch of attacks, you just learn his patterns and fight with them. So there's 4 bosses in the DLC. The Sanctuary Guardian, Artorias, the corrupted Artorias, because he went to the Abyss and was consumed by it. The Black Dragon Calamite, one of the last actual dragons left alive, who you kill. And Manus, the Father of the Abyss, the final boss of the DLC area. So, yeah. So let's just go ahead and get rid of one of them, so we can get enough souls to level up our intelligence a little bit more. Hwah! Butt smack. Hwah! Butt smack again. Okay. Anyway, it's the most effective method of dealing with most bosses. You should just smack them from behind where most of their attacks can hit you. So rolling actually negates most or all damage if you dodge out of the way properly. So that is probably the most effective method of avoiding damage, which is part of the reason I'm really glad we can mid-roll in Havel's set, because it allows us 2 methods of dodging: the mid-roll and the shield. So that's pretty nice. Anyway, so we're kind of running out of Estus, and the Sanctuary Guardian is running out of health, so we're getting pretty good. Anyway, so just a few more hits and we should be fine. Hit us with his tail when we're poisoned. So, but fortunately, you can barely see it going down if you even look for it. So you should be good. Anyway. And one more hit. And I missed. And there we go. Anyway. There we go. Yeah. So we also get a soul item, which is used... I'm not even sure what that's used for. Maybe it's just a soul item. I don't know. Another humanity. We do not get any homeward bones, but the bonfires are so close together. There's like one, then a boss, and then literally another one directly after said boss. So it really doesn't matter. Anyway, here we are in the Sanctuary. Ulasil. So this is a lot of past areas that you may or may not have seen before. It's theorized that maybe some of the areas are actually past versions of other places. The mother of all evil buff mushroom people. If I kill you, all the mushrooms go away? No? Oh. Anyway. So she sells us the same sorceries as Dusk, Whippity-doo, and even the same catalyst. Anyway, fortunately we can warp away from the past into the present and back. Woo, spooky magic. Anyway, now that we have enough intelligence, we should be able to warp the Daughter of Chaos bonfire and get us a Pyromancy Flame finally. So, basically the entire focus of this episode was accessing the DLC so we can fight the boss and get the Pyromancy Flame. So let's go and talk to him. Oh, yes. Yeah. Pyromancy Flame, yes. So we can afford Poison Mist, but we're not going to because our attunement slots are already all planned out. So we're going to go ahead and equip the Pyromancy Flame here. And now I can tell you about attuning magic. You need the specific slot and enough attunement slots. As you can see, the Great Chaos Fireball takes 2 attunement slots. Well, same with Chaos Storm, although Fire Surge only takes 1. So the main reason you're using Pyromancies is because you don't need any associated stat, which is pretty nice. We're also going to go ahead and consume the Guardian Soul. And that's not quite enough, I think. No, it's not. So anyway, we now have a Fireball Pyromancy, which is pretty nice. So it's a short range ranged attack, pretty much. The special effect of this is it leaves a lava puddle that damages enemies for a second time if they're still standing where the fireball hit. So it's pretty nice, and it works pretty well, but you can only use it 4 times before it recharges it before you have to recharge it at bonfire. So use it sparingly and only if you have to. As you can see, you can't use any more pyromancies because you don't have any left. Yeah. So when you rest it at bonfire, however, all your pyromancies recharge, so you don't need to worry about wasting it or anything. So for our next few levels, we'll be upgrading our attunement slots and stuff like that. So pyromancy flames can be upgraded at pyromancy vendors. All you need is souls, which is quite nice. Basically, all they do is just make your pyromancies a little better. Might be wondering what the 40 fire damage is at the end of this. Basically what it is the fire damage of the punch attack. You can actually punch with the pyromancy flame and it does a little bit of fire damage. So it's an interesting little tidbit there. Anyway, see you guys in the next episode where we actually do something. Class dismissed.